Man, we'll get into it, dude. It's cool. So, because we had the way of the rope,
Oh, Tim Sheaf.
Tim,
Yeah,
Tim, on the potty. It's probably close to a year ago
probably
now.
about a year ago, I reckon.
Yeah, and he went to send us a couple of ropes, and I think they got rejected. Did they? What happened with that? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Didn't get them into the country or some shit.
Yeah.
But cool guy, man. Cool guy. And then he spoke about, and we've obviously heard your name before, and it's funny, we got like the BOSU. I mean, it's iconic. It's iconic. And
Yeah, 26 years ago.
yeah.
That's when I invented 26 years.
Yeah. So
I can't believe you invented that.
I
It's
know.
just
And you
nuts,
think it would have been around longer for some reason.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, and because they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So like, I guess we got to touch on that. And I know you would have talked about this in potties before, but people got to hear it. Because like, why did that come in? Like, where did that come from? Where did that come into your consciousness from? And the idea to develop the BOSU ball, because it's just it's using like an infant development falling reflex type thing that you can just use with so many things. And I remember hearing one of our mentors talk about it. Like, you can use something like this to just wake up the system and like just wake up these little instability falling reflex that just help turn on tissue that hasn't been used in a while because they haven't needed to. Like some people just never ever get imbalanced in life. Some crew just walk around on flat concrete surfaces for 20 years, haven't even turned to their right more than 45 degrees, and
Yeah.
and that instability.
Some people have not. Yeah, I mean, we paved paradise because the wheels of commerce roll on flat.
Yep.
So there are no more bumpy roads.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So if you shop at Walmart twice a week, you probably have not stepped on anything but pristine flat surface for years, right?
Yeah.
And chicken dinner every night.
Yeah, yeah.
It changes the constant, right? So if it's flat every step you take and you're sort of stumbling through life without that swag of true balance and you're sort of stuck in the middle like this, it's a slow leak that saps your physical integrity, which then puts a strain on your mental well-being, and then God knows what that does to your spirit. Right. So
Yeah.
this is all about empowering people. And the BOSU ball really stemmed from I was acting in New York City. I was personal training to make my survival money, and I fell in love with rollerblades. So when I do things, I do them, I go to 11. And so I didn't walk for 6 years because I wore skates everywhere and all the time because I love effortless power, and just floating down the road is so much more fun than having to walk.
Yeah.
And so what happened, the result of that was my feet became extremely weak. So if you step on a Lego, it hurts and your body goes,
Yeah.
right? You resist the loading because you're uprooting to get off the pain. There's apprehension to loading. And so if your feet are so weak that you can never truly give to the ground, well, stuff in the upper body starts to get restricted, the tension gets stuck. And I had dropped my motorcycle one day. I yanked it up. I felt my back twinge, and 3 days later, I collapsed in white hot pain. And I spent more than a year where every single day my back hurt.
Fuck.
And I had no idea about the body like I do now. So now that would be fixed in less than a week. But then it was more than a year of chronic pain. And how I solved the problem was just took more pain medication. Like naproxen is the drug. It goes under the brand Aleve, and usually the bottles are this big, but they also sell a bottle this big, and I was eating them like Tic Tacs. So it sort of eviscerated my my gut, my liver got all beat up, I got toxic, and my back was killing me. And then I found the stability ball, and that the stimulus of those writing and adjusting, sort of what I'll call almost resets, where you're taking tension that's stuck and you're making it sort of have to do something. At least you get it moving. And then I saw Paul Chek squatting on a stability ball. Saw a picture on the internet, and I was like, all right, I'm standing on that thing. So I got my pull-up bar and I put my feet on it and let go, let go. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Now let's do this, that. And I got to the point where I could jump on it. I could jump a rope standing on a
Whoa.
ball. I
No
could
way.
under it. I could jump from one ball to another ball. And then one night, it was June 25th, 1999. I'm watching the New
Wow.
York Knicks lose to the San Antonio Spurs, game 5 of the NBA Finals, and I'm standing on a 75 centimeter ball. And I'm not being aggressive where you're ready for, the fall. I was going minimalist with Feldenkrais, and I close my eyes, I tilt my head, and boom, boom. I land on the ball with my sort of sacrum and lower back. I do a backflip. I slam my neck into these cinder blocks that are holding up a kitchen counter. I start kicking my feet to make sure I can still kick my feet. And I'm laying in bed that night going, man, my body's starting to feel better. Like, how am I going to keep going? How am I going to, well, what if I cut the ball in half? And then I was like, what? I'd never seen that. They sell millions of balls every year. Like, this thing's even more useful, cost a bit more, but this thing is, and I knew in that moment that my acting career has just ended because I'm going to go make some money finally. So
Sick.
I just worked my butt off for several years and put it in a position where I could, do it with my own company, or I could license it and buy my time.
Yeah.
So I chose to buy my time, which meant that for now 25 years, I get a check in the mail.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what I do
Fuck yeah.
today, and I, it's plenty of, I'm not a billionaire, but M is pretty cool. B
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get to B. I'm gonna get to B.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There's more work to be done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was basically, the genesis of it was solving my own problem, and it opened up a new sensory experience for me that was all about resetting threat. So if suddenly threat appears, your body will react to it with this flinching response. And if it has to do with a loss of balance, the untrained person will freak out and shoot tension up, whereas a trained person will relax and drop down. So it's fundamentally different. And if you're doing this, that's very bad for moving. You're going to lose that particular play in the game if you're here, right? But if you can drop it and lift your base, boom, boom, suddenly you're active and you're ready right now. So obviously the second state of affairs is better. And with the BOSU ball, when the dome side is up, the device itself is stable in the same way that a trampoline is stable. And instead of a trampoline where you dip down and go to concave, a BOSU ball is a convex trampoline, which means that your nervous system is not nervous when you stand on the dome, because if you do lose your balance, you just step off on the ground and you're safe. So that is in contrast to like the bongo board or something, where if I wipe out, I'm gonna break my wrist, or I'm gonna bruise my coccyx so bad I can't sit for a month, or whatever the consequence is, and the nervous system gets nervous. So when you can challenge the balance and proprioception without the threat of injury that your lower brain is going to decide, right? You could think whatever you want, but your lower brain's going to tell the truth. And if it's scared, it's doing this, and that's very bad. And if it's cool and calm and Fonzie, talking Pulp Fiction, baby, drop into balance. And you can literally reset your body's response to the reaction of threat or opportunity, such that when it comes, you're seeking solution, you're not seeking protection immediately, right? So if I freak out, oh, I just want to protect myself, I've already lost. But if I drop, oh, where's the opportunity to win right now? Oh, I found it, right? And then you make the play. But even more important is that now you have what I'll call the parasympathetic sympathetic ambivalence, because you know that if it's sticks and stones, the answer to the question, who's going to eat tonight, is my family, my friends, me. That's who's eating tonight. And that gives me a very confident parasympathetic state that can snap into sympathetic and get right back to parasympathetic because I'm cool. I'm
Yeah.
moving with balance, right? I got nothing to be uptight about because I can go get dinner, right? That fundamental, right? It's so locomotion is more important than water. And it's more important than food. If you don't have water and you don't have food, and DoorDash doesn't deliver it, you got to go get it.
Yeah.
Air
Yeah.
you need now, locomotion you need now, so you can
Yeah.
go get water and food. Think about it.
So fucking
That's
true.
so cool. It's like I smoked a joint the other night and I was thinking about well, it's funny how you said Feldenkrais, because what got me into this, like, sort of, I got into the movement field was I grew up with, my dad's like a Feldenkrais nut, right? Almost like I grew up like a religion with him.
Oh,
And but I hated it when I was a kid, you know, like I didn't hear of anything. I just heard him talking about Feldenkrais all the time and this and always on the ground and moving around and doing this sort of stuff. And then when I did my first check course, I first heard him talk about Feldenkrais and I was like, whoa, that's the first time I've ever heard that name said. And then I just heard you say it then. And that's probably honestly the second time I've ever heard the name said, to be honest, dude. Like no one really talks about it. And it's funny how you start to see the beauty in it now. And obviously it was going in my psyche at some stage during my adolescence. But I was like, how well can you move? I thought about it the other day, and I did this with the para now, washing the dishes. Like, you know, you hate fucking washing the dishes. You're like, all right, but how well can I wash these dishes? And all of a sudden there's a gracefulness in it, almost like an Alexander technique to the mundane things. But
Yes.
how you were just talking about with fluid and moving around, it's like there is an awareness that you can tap in with, what is the right way to move? And I guess you got to use feel to tap into that. Like what feels like the least amount of stress in my body while using the least amount of calories to move through space, which all comes back down to survival. And just, it's funny hearing you talk like that, because it's sort of like how I grew up, you know? And
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's-
and that's something that I mean, listen, whatever your father liked, you'd have hated, right?
Yeah.
That's just the
Yeah.
nature of a go-getter son who wants to, go beyond his dad, and that's normal and good, right? But you were steeped in something that is highly sophisticated, and it's on the other side of the spectrum of, more force, bigger, faster, stronger, but complementing this yang, big, fast, strong, when you complement it with the subtlety and the grace and the efficiency of understanding the soft, well, now you put very little effort in here to get the most out of it. And over here, you put the most effort you can to get the most out of it. And if I don't have the efficiency, well, then I hit a ceiling over here when I'm trying to be big, strong, and fast. And my challenge is, how do I be a better man? Because you want to find a better man, just go out on the street and look around. God didn't make me somebody who's going to get paid to play anything. So athletically speaking, I'm B plus. College football, Division III, because there is no Division IV. Same with college track, right? So my great challenge is, how do I take someone who has better nature, better genetics, but through my nurture and my training, my understanding of movement, how do I beat the better guy? And there's nothing more satisfying than having a guy who can run faster than you, who can't get open on a pattern on the football field, and having him slam his helmet down going, God damn it, why the fuck? It's because I train. Okay.
Yeah.
It's because my nervous system is here and now, and I'm responding to things at a faster pace, doing the mathematics faster than the better man who didn't train as wisely. And so, and if I were a great athlete, I wouldn't tell anybody anything. In fact, I would say, just do Palloff press, just do anti-rotation,
Yeah.
right? If you're competing against me, do the Palloff press. That's all I do. Do it every day, right? Get uprooted, become stiff, wrong, strong. But because I'm not a great athlete, my best interest is to give it to the great athlete, so that we create the social proof that if we make the very best better, which I proven track record. You can look at world records I've contributed to, right? Open the key that opens a door. Well, okay, that now is in everybody's interest. And I wear this shirt. Everyone wins with Weck. Because what I'm doing is I'm addressing the universal. So the only thing underneath locomotion is breathing. Breathing is the priority. Locomotion is the next most important functional movement because it is the functional movement that bridges all the other functional movements.
Yeah.
I go walk to the swimming pool and I walk back to the car when I'm done swimming. Same thing with the squat rack. I walk over to it, right? So by enhancing that with simple information that doesn't cost anybody anything, it's a very democratic, give the information away, right? Create the educated customers who will have the understanding that, oh, yeah, stiff science, it's all bullshit. And you won't fall for it once you have the physical integrity to say, oh, wait a minute, that feels way wrong. Because the only way you can associate and hit the target twice is by feeling what's happening, the sensation. If you don't sense it, well, how can you ever aim at it? So, and I'm talking about remarkable, dramatic, very fast improvement, because when the system is systemically balanced and the tensional balance, there's no hot spots. Everything's going down, delivering to the ground so that you can receive it and express it with nothing counter to that. Well, then that is by definition the very best that you could be. And when you drive in the left lane real fast at the best you can be, well, new opportunities now present that would not have presented if you were stuck, in the right lane behind a big truck going really slow, breathing exhaust, and, oh, I'm science, oh, science. And I love science. I need science. We need science. But we don't need bullshit agenda science. That's exactly what we don't need.
Yeah.
All right. And in the fitness space, you got different little areas or aspects of a fitness industry. And the YouTube fitness influencers, the very few who make it to the top, they're making 10 million bucks a year because they're talking about hypertrophy and fat loss, what regular people care about. I care about a tenth of a second in the 40, but not too many regular people do. So the YouTube influencers have tremendous reach. And now there's been tremendous controversy in the YouTube fitness science-based guys because Mike Israetel now just got found out that he didn't write a PhD dissertation. He did a bullshit job to get a PhD. And it's wonderful because he's good at the game. He knows how to play it and blah, blah, blah. But what it does is it does slap science across the face because biomechanics science, Stuart McGill core function. Oh, we need to be stiff. Oh, yeah, stiff. That's wrong. 2007 is when they invested all in. The core doesn't generate power. The spine has to be rigidified and immobilized in neutral so that the ball and socket joints can create the movement. It's actually better to prevent movement of your core than to use movement. As the golfer's spine passes through neutral, what the fuck are you looking at, Stu? No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like the golfer's spine was never in neutral. So why did it pass through neutral when it didn't pass through neutral?
Fully.
The first step in science is observation. And if you can't even observe reality for what it is, well, then how in the hell can you conduct science? Right?
Yeah.
And a guy like me comes along and says, hey, with total respect, gentle, right? I would love to show you this. This is a discovery. Here's what it does. Where's the science? Anecdote, no peer review. I've seen a lot of magic bullets in my day. No thanks. Right? Oh, really? Like you're a legend in this industry and you don't want to see something? I understand that we're all jaded because there's so many people out there, trying to shill bullshit, but I'm not. And if you're going to dismiss it and ridicule it and reject it, sight unseen, you never tested it, well, then you may have made a career mistake Because the young guys coming up now that are doing head over foot, coiling the core, getting stronger for real, getting faster for real than they did doing the stupid shit. All right, well, there's the social proof. And now the career guy, oh, I'm at the top. I don't want to be on the top. I'm underneath. When I got 10 fingers, that if you don't avail yourself of this hoist, well, then you don't climb as high. And I can say that unequivocally. I could stand in front of any number of people with anyone else on stage, and I'll speak exactly, well, I'll even be gentler and kinder, right?
Yeah.
But I ain't going back down because I fight with the truth for the truth, right? I want individual autonomous creatures to live stories to God's glory, and I don't want any more bullying in the schools and in the fitness industry. I don't want any more bullying because intellectual bullies, that's what science guys have become.
Fully. So true.
So they get to all myopically circle around. They all reach around each other and they look inside and, oh, yay, ooh. And they won't look outside the circle.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was your big mistake because now the willful ignorance and the duration of it's going to be completely humiliating in hindsight. It's going to be like, why the fuck were you guys such assholes? Like
Yeah.
you denied the truth over and over and over and over again. They destroyed the reputation of the BOSU ball. Science done on Dynadiscs, which is an air cushion. It's not stable like a BOSU ball. You feel like you're going to break your ankle. So let's study lifting weights on these discs. And now let's come to the conclusion that BOSU balls make healthy athletes weaker because inflatable discs make healthy athletes weaker. Who cares? Nobody does. But that stupid fucking blue half ball that I see everywhere, that asshole, that charlatan, he's trying to trick people. He's worse than Tony Little. That's their attitude, right? And I'm anything but that. I'm the polar opposite of that. I played football and I'm from New Jersey, which means that you got to kill me if I will not release the bite. If I bite, I'm hanging on the rope, dead or alive. You're gonna have to pry it off, and that will be a challenge.
Man, that's
so good, dude.
that is
Love the passion.
Yeah, well, it's like when we're talking about the rotation, and again, just using feel is a bit of the common sense, and there's this common sense in it. And a quote that I was taught from a mentor from an evolutionary biologist is, "Nothing makes sense in biology except in the light of evolution," and I use that reference for just about everything. Like that's how I sort of
say that phrase again. Say that phrase again.
Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution, right?
Okay.
So that you can always look at. There's almost a survival evolutionary reason for just about everything. There's a reason why we lost hair. There's a reason why we rotate through the spine. There's locomotion. Like,
the aquatic ape.
yeah.
I think that's part of the puzzle there. You know what I think is the real puzzle piece that fit it all in? I think that it was this for the Homo sapien and not the Neanderthal, right? Because the Neanderthal was just as smart. They were bigger, they were stronger, they could see in the dark, their eyes were up here, they lived in the cold, they were super robust. So sticks, stones, ropes, fire, secrets of plants, we both had those. Sticks, stones, ropes, fire, and the secrets from plants. If you both got them, you're even.
Yep.
And fire's the big one because fire scares away all the things that are going to eat you otherwise. And then we tamed the big bad wolf and created man's best friend. And when you have the hounds, you send the hounds in. Now that fire that was sanctuary, sleep with both eyes closed, is a dinner bell for the dogs. And you send the dogs in. That's right. And then you come in, these little skinny, meek little Homo sapiens with all these eat and hurt alls, the eat and hurt all Neanderthal, right? And we wiped them out. There's not a six-fingered man on the planet.
That's so good.
That's true. Man's best friend, dude. Well, it's funny. My mate went hunting recently, shot a deer, and the shot obviously wasn't ideal, and the deer ran off into the long grass. And this is Australia bushland, so sometimes it's hard, right? And he goes, it rattled him because he doesn't like killing an animal without a clean shot. And and he goes, man, if I had a dog there, we'd all be eaten. But in that grass, you can't find it. You know, he goes, you
Yeah.
try your
Yeah.
best,
The
but you
dog
can't.
can smell it.
Straight away, a dog would have got it. And you start to see how well, if you had a dog, the whole tribe would have eaten. But they went hungry because they didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fully. Hey.
Yeah. Man's best friend, the canine that was tamed. And now you have a Great Dane, you got a Chihuahua, and it all comes from the big bad wolf. Think about, sexual selection and selective breeding. You can create all sorts of things, right? Oh, I like big ears. Well, mate the big ear with the big ear, and we have bigger ears.
Dude, what was it like for you growing up? Like, you said you grew up in New Jersey?
Yes.
Yeah, so like that's close to New York City. Like, what was it like back then? In your era, like I know that it was so different. New York City, New Jersey, and
so
the mob owned it back then, right? Like, I'm just so intrigued because your personality is so strong, and it's awesome, dude. And I just want to know what it was like to grow up in such that's like for us, it's like Hollywood movies, and it's like the epicenter of like acting, and it's the center of the world, really.
Yeah, well, it's funny because New Jersey, when I was growing up, you still had rotary telephones, and if you picked it up, your neighbor might be on the party line. So it was very unsophisticated from a technological thing. I was, when I was alive, there was no such thing as Pong. When I was young, the little things that go bing, 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 the first video game.
Yeah.
That was new when I was, I don't know, 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I did not like New York City when I was a kid. And then I lived there after college for a decade and had, a decade of decadence that trust me, I had a good time. But in New Jersey, the town that I was in, now it's gentrified so that it's just McMansions on trains going to New York, making millions of dollars. But when I was growing up, it was a tough working class Italian town where the Italians better to wrestle and lose than play basketball.
Yeah.
Like it was ready to fight at a moment's notice, or looking for a fight was sort of what it was. And the New Jersey mullet, you're familiar with the haircut where
Yeah.
relatively short, but it's long here.
Yeah.
I grew a mullet when I was 14 because I was going into the junior school, right? Or no, sorry, 14, 15 when I was going into the high school. I'm going to be the low man on the totem pole next year, from eighth grade where I'm at the top. Now I'm going to the bottom as a freshman. And we had this thing called capping where you would sneak up on somebody and on the back of their neck, you'd like clap it. And we called it capping.
Yeah.
I grew a mullet in New Jersey as self-defense from getting capped. So maybe that's where the New Jersey mullet comes from. I don't know. But everybody around me, football coaches, everybody was tough. And that was how you defined yourself is like, how tough are you? How much can you take? How much can you give? And so I sort of grew up with that being my defining quality under my own control. Right. Is to just keep driving, keep going, never, ever quit. And that was highly encouraged on the football team. Because back in the 80s, we were taught to spear people right with your helmet. And I was trying to break my helmet on your helmet. And I didn't want to injure you. And concussions weren't injuries back then. It was just getting your bell rung.
Yeah.
I concussed every day for 8 years because I was smashing my head. And, who knows? Maybe that joggled some things that gave me problems, and maybe that, set some things up to make some discoveries I wouldn't have made either. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that New Jersey toughness is, for some reason, I identify with it, and I even think like it's a jersey, right? What's
Fuck
the
yeah.
jersey that you wear? My jersey's fucking flag. Right? That's my jersey, right? That's a New Jersey, no bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, and then I went to college in Massachusetts. Then I moved to New York City and lived, I don't know, 3 or 4 lives in 10 years in New York City.
I could imagine.
And back then, New York City, when I was there for the decade that I lived there, it was seedy in the beginning and then Disney in the end. So I was in this transformative decade where it was absolutely perfect because it wasn't so dangerous and disgusting, but it wasn't this sanitized, fucking terrible New York City where it's like there's no such thing as a mom and pop store. It's Dwayne Reed Drugstore, Chase Bank, and Starbucks. And if I sit in a Starbucks, I can see a Dwayne Reed and I can see a freaking, Chase Bank, and Starbucks is just around the corner. And when I was there, you had the little mom and pop shops, right? It was
Yeah.
much more special. So I'm very grateful that I got to spend that decade there in Manhattan.
That would have been so
And
cool.
then when I met the woman who I married and I have kids with, she had grown up in Chicago area and went to school in San Diego. And in the beginning, I was just on an airplane, 30 weeks out of the year. I was flying to trade shows and events and stuff. So it didn't matter where I lived. So why not live in paradise where it's 72 degrees and sunny, not humid and no mosquitoes biting me? Like, okay, I want to live there.
Fully.
So San Diego is where I have my roots now. And, I suffer the ills of communist California and the political system here that is just, it couldn't be worse because the weather. I mean, that's why I'm here. And if the weather were better somewhere else in the United States, I'd go there. And I don't like Hawaii. It's too humid.
Yeah.
And Kauai, you can't get a minute's worth of sleep because there's roosters cock-a-doodle doing all night long because there's no foxes. There's no predators. And you're supposed to wait till the sun comes up. What the hell you cock-a-doodle doing at 2 a.m. for?
Yeah. Have you been to San Diego, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to, that's where, close to where Paul is, but I've
right,
spent some time there. Do you get,
Yeah, Paul lives in North San Diego.
in Fallbrook? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fallbrook. Yeah. And I love it, man. I love it over there. The jiu-jitsu, like I was just there last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was at 10th Planet with Gio
cool.
Masters and like some fucking cool guys, man. You know what I love about jiu-jitsu? It's just like he's one of the best in the world, and he's just like so open. He's just like, here, I'll show you this. He's like, let's get a photo. Like, welcome to our gym. There's no other sport in the world, hey, like that.
My principal senseis are the Salo and Shanji Ribeiro.
Oh,
Cool.
They had
wow.
Holy
they
shit.
had the University of Jiu-Jitsu here. I was never interested in jiu-jitsu because I don't like getting down on the ground. I'm not flexible in my hips or anything. So I was always nah. And then my son pulled some prank and got in trouble. So I was like, all right, well, let's figure out what the disciplinary action will be. Let's do jiu-jitsu. And rather than just make him do it, I did it with him. He sort of lost some interest in it and doesn't play it anymore right now. But I just got the bug and I kept doing it. And within that framework where everybody is a good person, there's no assholes in class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that gives you the trust that you can go full, but you just tap so neither one of you gets hurt.
Yeah.
And if you're in the striking arts, the second you start sparring, you're taking damage, right?
Yeah,
So,
fuck yeah.
I don't want to take damage. I don't want to be a boxer.
No.
But I definitely want to learn how to punch, but I don't want to stand here and stand here. I want to come in. I want to get the hell away or close the distance. I don't want to be hit or be hit. Right? You're going to get hit if you stand
100%.
right here.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I care a lot about self-defense. Like I care a lot about it because I like feeling confident.
Yeah.
And so I have played out scenarios. I know what I'm going to do in different circumstances. I come prepared for it. I carry mace everywhere I go. So, right here in my pocket.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Happy to see you.
You kind of got to be over in Cali these days, and even Texas is like, it's kind of like you got to think like that.
I mean, and in some states, there's a loaded Glock, stuck on a magnet right in the passenger, foot area. So the United States is definitely, things can go wrong and you can get hurt very quickly if circumstances dictate. And so I like feeling safe. So it's something that I train it to the reflexive level. So my foundation is literally fight, flight, response, ability. Like, how am I going to react to opportunity or threat that suddenly presents?
Yeah.
And if I have to move before I move, well, I'm not going to be as good as if I just move. And so preserving that root to the ground where it's always productive, right? You're not sort of stuck in no man's land. You know where you are and you can get to the next position without delay or restriction. That gives me the best chance at surviving if someone comes to try to hurt me.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's survival is the foundation, and back pain can be the result of an unreconciled, out of balance body that the nervous system is protecting by clamping down a hot spot that eventually hurts because you and your smart intellect are so athletically stupid that you don't just
Move.
organize balance and say, oh yeah, I'm stiff. Oh. And strength became associated with like stiffness, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm stiff in my spine and that's all I can ever be, well, am I going to be open-minded or am I going to be sort of,
Rigid.
trapped in myself where oh, I need to be, and I'm a guy who believes stronger is better. So unlike the other functional training brands, no, barbells are good. I love a barbell. We can do a ton of great stuff with a barbell. Like I like yoga. There's nothing wrong with
Mm.
yoga. There's nothing wrong with back squats. Some people can do it great and it doesn't hurt them. Other people maybe shouldn't do it.
Mm.
So just categorically dissing strength? What the hell are we talking about here?
Mhm.
Like, oh, kettlebells are dumb. Like, what are we talking about here? You're the carpenter who blames a tool because you can't use it,
Mm.
right? And when I was growing up in the 80s, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme. If you weren't big and ripped, you weren't a man. So what we aspired for was the look, right? We wanted, and when I was in high school, I mean, I didn't know how to fight. And a lot of this tough Italian stuff was a lot of posturing where you just bump chests, like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Leave yourself wide open as you bump someone's chest. Someone educated, you bang, you punch you in the nose. But that sort of posturing and stuff. And today, I think now the more aspirational thing is the Jason Statham kind of thing, like the guy who can handle himself, who
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily look as big as Arnold, but he would toss Arnold around like a toy because he has physical prowess. And
Mm.
genetically, we're all limited to what we can look like. And I could take every drug, I could take more drugs than Mike Israel, and I'll never be big compared to big people. I'll
Mm.
never be strong compared to strong people. So why am I going to chase that rabbit when it's going to lead me to mid-level at best?
Mm.
No, I need to find something else that gives me an advantage that lets me defeat the guy who is better than me and
Mm.
then teach him the tricks that makes him better than me again. It's just a
Mhm.
reset. If you're here and one guy gets an advantage and he goes to here, well, all you do is teach this guy the advantage and you're right back to square one.
Mm.
Mhm.
It's like jujitsu and MMA. Like, oh, yeah, I need to know how to not get beat by it so I can punch you in the face. And if I punch you in the face and I don't know, how to not get sort of a guillotine choke, well, then I'm going to lose to jujitsu.
Mm.
And so it's this game of and the arms race of what's the new thing, what's the new advantage, what's the new advantage. And if I can have the advantage and exploit it without telling others for a time, well, that's probably good if I got the goods to do it. But again, since I don't have the goods to do it, it's give it away. It's give it away. And then
Mm.
people pay for the specialized training. And I require educated customers.
Mm.
And when their personal trainer is telling them that BOSU balls are stupid and they make healthy athletes weaker and all this other nonsense, well, that hits home real hard. And I'm Jersey, I got a chip on my shoulder. And I use rage and furious anger as fuel. Like I'm very, very used to using anger and furious anger. I'm talking rage where I'll grit my teeth and I'll squeeze these quarter. I'll try to pop myself with the pressure and the anger that I feel. And it's anger at the injustice of the world. So it's anger that I can't even affect. There's nothing I can do about it, but I can funnel and sort of transmute that rage into, okay, I'm going to focus on physical education and target individuals to make themselves stronger fundamentally with sustainable strength that is only possible when you have balance.
Mm.
And believe me when I say, I have harnessed the rage that I get from injustice when some certified stiff tells somebody that I'm a charlatan or my pulsars don't work. You don't know what you don't know. And it's coming. It's coming. You're going to bend the knee to reality and by proxy to me. Yeah. Who said what when? Yeah. Nah, 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 nah. The BOSU guy beat you. Nah, 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 nah. And they got to deal with that now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not here to make friends. I'm happy to make friends, but I don't need to make friends. I'm here to change the world and make it better. And I'm not going to let some asshole stand in my way with 50,000 peer-reviewed stiffs all organized with this army of like, oh, here's my talking points. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's the science. Oh, I can't even not make that voice when I talk like what those guys say.
Yeah.
Because if I were saying, oh yeah, we're gonna like that's what I would talk like because
Yeah.
it's the uninformed idiot who thinks that he's smarter than you.
Yeah.
And I have a high level intellect. Okay, back to Mike Israel. He's in a YouTube. He's like, yeah, well, my IQ is measured at 160, but the test, since I got all the questions right, we don't know the limits of my IQ. I have no idea what my IQ is, but I know that I was invited to join Mensa when I did some online intelligent quotient test. All right. And I got honors grades at Williams College, one of the most prestigious academic institutes in America. Right. And I got by with honors grades doing the least amount of work possible because for me it was football, alcohol, girls, then grades. Grades are to cover my ass. I worked down on Wall Street the summer before graduation. I was all set to go be a millionaire, moving money around. And at the 11th hour, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that going to be my life? Because prior to that, my life was just I get to play football next year and I'm going to drink and I'm going to meet girls and I'm going to get good grades. And then after senior year, it's like, oh, geez, it's a big blue ocean out there. What you going to do? So what I did was I said, fuck it, I'm going to go be an actor.
Sick.
I want to be a famous, adored teen idol, right? But I don't have quite the looks and I don't have the nepotism. And so it's a very difficult row to hoe if that's the path you want to go down. And I came close. Like I screen tested for shit that you've seen, I didn't get it. And I'm very happy and grateful that I didn't succeed in that because then I wouldn't have my hands on the wheel. And now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which is taking a lifelong passion for just the joy of moving the wind blowing through my hair and that pure, innocent, just wonderful. It's amazing to be alive and to be breathing and family, friends, go after it. Like that's me inside. I'm a nice person. I'm a kind person. I'm not a malevolent person. But when you punch me, Jesus said, turn the other cheek. Punch comes in. I turn my other cheek and then I smash that motherfucker because I'm not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's such a good quote. Fuck yeah.
I don't have to forgive him. God can forgive him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm flawed. I'm a sinner. Yeah, that's.
I love that, eh?
Yeah, that's what you always say. Like
Yeah.
the anger, you can't hide the anger. You know?
No,
Like,
if it's in you, it's innate.
But
you know?
yeah, but I can see whatever it's in you, but it won't stay with you. Like,
Well,
it won't ruin
yes,
your day.
because I can't pretend.
No.
So I can't be sitting here going, Om.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm from New Jersey. I'm not in the mood to say Om because I see so many fucking problems around and nobody's fixing these problems. Look at the non-contact injuries in sports. Okay. When I was playing sports, nobody fell down crippled with needing surgery when nothing happened. It didn't ever happen. And I think there's several reasons. When I was a kid, you had 3 months of barefoot. In the beginning of the summer, your feet hurt, and by the end, you couldn't hurt them. And so feet take a lot of reps to get strong. And now, if you're a decent athlete, you're shepherded around to different travel leagues, and you're never not wearing your little cleats to play soccer as a kid now. The weight training, they're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, but their feet are weaker. They overtrain, they repetitive stress it over and over. And their personal trainer is having them do pal-off presses and tall kneeling chops. Yay, okay, woo. We have to learn how to not rotate before we rotate. What does that do to the fight responsibility? Oh, it puts a glitch in it. Yeah, that's right. That which fires together wires together. I'm busy uprooting every athlete who walks through the door, and every athlete who walks through the doors of the certified stiffs who believe my bullshit that the core doesn't generate power. Now we have to immobilize the spine to move. There is no backing out of this. They've said what they've said. They said it when they said it, and it's all on the internet. I got receipts. Don't you? There is no like, oh yeah, we sort of meant, yeah, oh yeah, we're saying the same. No, you're not. You're the guys that were telling everybody that I was the fraud. And now the tables have turned. It turns out I'm not the fraud. Oh, good. Because if I was, I couldn't live with myself. Right. And it wouldn't be a rope. It'd be a fucking gun. If I were a fraud, I'd do it right like that. I'd aim right perfect and it would be over because I can't be a fraud. Nothing could be worse than being a fraud.
So true, man.
Just
Yeah,
on my psyche.
fully.
Right.
Yeah,
I have to have integrity. Otherwise, I can't live with myself.
You wonder if
So true.
they know, because a lot of them, because you know how like you see the people that are talking like that, like where everything's got to be evidence based, it's got to be a piece of paper to know that cigarettes cause cancer or whatever. You know, the same. I always use the example like the same crew in the 60s would have told you, show me the evidence that smoking causes cancer when your lungs are designed for air. You know what I mean? But I find the ones that do well in regard to getting views, they're speaking their truth, even though their truth is, in my opinion, wrong. But something about someone speaking their truth grabs the attention. And they think the same shit about us. They think, oh, what the fuck you mean? You meant like you shouldn't rotate,
No,
you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, certainly there are those that are completely hoodwinked and brainwashed, and they have no idea that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of them, but it's not their truth. It's the truth that's been foisted upon them by a bully culture because nobody wants to be ostracized. And if you don't have a BOSU ball that's selling all over, so you get checks in the mail, well, now you may have to fit in, right? Oh, you're not going to fit in being an original thinker now, are you? No, that's the fastest path to being a crab in the bucket that they don't like. And they're going to pinch you. They don't like success. If they see another person succeeding, especially if they're making millions of dollars, that only amps up the hatred of that individual because the envy and the jealousy and the belief that they're a serious trainer, they're a real trainer, they have the science, and that one over there, he's just making money, you know, blah, 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 blah. No. That's painting it in a way that sets everyone up to lose because then we start defending dysfunction so adamantly that we behave like jerk-offs, right? There's so many jerk-offs in fitness. It's like so many jerk-offs. On X, nobody challenges me on X. On Instagram, I block 3 people a day. I don't know. If you say something stupid on my Instagram, it's just you're blocked. And I may send you a message that says GFY. And it's not good for you. All right, GFY. And Elon said it. So you can figure out what GFY means.
Okay.
Like go yourself.
Yeah.
And then I just block them. And my logic is, okay, you burned a bridge. And you're either going to get on your knees and make up for being the douchebag or learn my stuff from somebody else. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You're going to do it because every high jumper does the Fosbury flop. And every trainer is going to teach balanced locomotion as a foundational component to functional movement by mastering the fundamental functional movement. And if your training is contradictory to the fundamental functional movement, well, then you can't sustain that. Right? You know, the emperor's wearing a straitjacket and all these certified stiffs are praying to his altar.
Yeah.
It's weakness that has run amok. It's weakness. And I was the kid, when I was in 4th grade, I was fighting the 6th graders because nobody picked on me. When I was in 1st grade, there was a 5th grader who was picking on me and he would make me cry. How embarrassing is that? That's humiliating. Crying because an older kid is picking on you. And I came home one day very sad, and my mom, she just like the jaw got like this and it clenched the jaw. She goes, the next time he does that to you, you grab him and you knee him in the balls. Oh, the next time he did that, I remember we were, after school, we're walking down the paved area there to cross the street, and he comes over to pick on me. And I dropped that guy with my knee hitting his nuts. And guess what? Suddenly, the sixth graders carried me home on their shoulders because suddenly I was the king, and that guy never bothered me again. And I learned that lesson in first grade. But I was always the guy who was going to, if you're an older kid and you're taking our ball, well, then you have to fight me because I'm coming to fight you. And I never would back down. I just would never, ever back down. And that's an opponent that it's a troublesome opponent because even if you could beat him up, you're going to get scratched. It's just, it's probably the juice ain't worth the squeeze because that kid over there won't fight back. So we'll go pick on him. Bullies don't like strength, right?
No.
And for peer review, I'm applying peer pressure. Peer pressure. The social proof continues to mount. I've helped world-class strength athletes set world records. And they will tell you that I'll tell you, but they'll also tell you. So I have that ace in my sleeve that I know how to make people stronger. Not just better movers because, oh yeah, I can move. No, stronger and better mover. And that hasn't been here before. Even Charles Poliquin, the legend, he admitted that he knew nothing about biomechanics. And his criticism of the BOSU ball, I'll forgive him. He would say that BOSU balls are stability balls for idiots. I think that was how he defined BOSU ball. They're stability balls for idiots. And the reason they're bad is because you can't get a shin angle that's straight. You have to angle your shins. Yeah, Charles. And you know what that does? When you compress into elastics to limit with that joint angle where the force is going longitudinally through the shins, you're squeezing to the center line, and it's not some adductor squeeze your legs together. It's actual compressive force to the center line through the feet. Match the spine and shin angles, draw up elastic resistance, elastic to limit. Boom. Your adductors, they both flex and extend better now. That's right. You lift your feet up easier. Guess what? You're faster. Guess what? Do that for a 1, 2, 3, boom, let it go. You're primed to do a bigger deadlift. Oh, yes. So you got to read page 2 because page 1 was me doing something on a BOSU ball. Page 2 is skinny little me doing 650-pound deadlift. Oh, and it wouldn't have been as heavy if I hadn't have done the prime. And adductors are the only muscle group at the same joint act in opposition, right? They help with the flexion, they help with the extension because it's not opposing, it's a figure eight. You come in external to land, internal to bring it through. External, internal, external, internal. It's figure eights. There is no door hinge in the body. There's no like, and so when the trainer's, oh, I'm going to do this for the transverse plane, and then they start twisting. Oh, well, that's shearing force on the spine. It's athletic pathetic because if I'm going to do this, well, then the entire side of my body has to do that. If I separate my shoulders and my hips and my shoulders are level and my hips are level, all I'm doing is twisting and I'm not strong and I'm vulnerable. It's the dip and the verticalization that gives us power. Imagine hitting a baseball. Where is the position? Are my shoulders level? No, they're not. If I go to throw, is my spine rigid? No, of course not. Mike Boyle, oh yeah, the rectus abdominis, his primary function is anti-extension. Well, how do you high jump? How do you throw a javelin? How do you throw a football? How do you catch a football that's not a perfect pass? You got to extend, and your rectus abdominis, his principal job is not anti-extension. Okay? That is only a fool would say that, and only a dishonest fool would continue to say it, and only an exceptionally weak individual, unfortunately, there are far too many of them, would say that. Boom.
It's
so true.
It's so cool hearing you say that, man, because I want to hear what your idea is this, because couple of years ago, I was playing with like rotating through this, like practicing running with the upper body, but like not even integrating the legs, just feeling the upper body. And then I've noticed,
which is a great way to learn.
Yeah,
because
right.
balance begins with the upper body.
And I noticed, like when I ice cream scoop the air, it gives me free rotation, like it gives me free energy. You know what I mean? And I've noticed what you were saying then, like I noticed, like if I again bring that little bit of like basically this, like I was doing this, so just going
Yeah, swimming through the air.
like that feeling, and I notice, oh, like when I do that up the stairs in a fucking 20 flight, it gives me free energy to sling up the stairs instead of using just like my biceps and anterior deltoid and whatnot to go up and down. But I don't know if that I haven't seen it. I'm sure you're probably doing it right, but I just didn't know because it feels good. I feel that elasticity through my obliques giving me the free recoil. And then also you get to feel the imbalances. You get to feel, oh, when I rotate my rib cage to the left, I hit that like wall quicker before I go back to the right. So it really brought an awareness to like, okay, because I used to scaffold before I got into this sort of stuff. Scaffolding is all tension and compression and looking at where the levers are and whatnot, right? So I obviously do it a lot more throwing to the left. Like when you throw gear up, you're using one more sling relative to the other. And I was like, you start to see how you become what you do. And and how like, oh, okay, like that's why I hit that wall quicker, because I just really facilitated the obliques on that side, and they just don't really have the length because I didn't give it to them. But I even treat that like a stretch, but I'll just do the same side. I'll just almost like rep a little that way and throw harder to that side. And by the end of it, I feel like I gain that elasticity back and that free energy. And but I can't find that. I don't know. It feels right, but I still see people sprinting with straight arms, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, sprinting mechanics will often fall apart because of haste and the panic that I have to go fast.
Right.
So Charlie Francis, arguably the greatest sprint coach ever, they say. I read all his stuff through the years. He was Ben Johnson's coach. He also, FloJo ran the 10-4-9. He said that the best cue that he ever received and the best cue that he ever gave was the phrase, wait for it. So you have to land on the beat and put the exclamation point on the beat, on the beat. And if you're thinking in a panic, like, oh, I have to go fast, then you start sawing your arms back and forth without a down force, right? And you panic and you don't sort of get there to put real force in, receive real force, express real force. It's, out of balance. But if that same person were to just jog slowly, they'd be head over foot and their hands would bounce because there's no urgency. And a staircase is so incredible. What an amazing training tool a staircase is, because it attenuates. You have to do head over foot upstairs. Otherwise, the feeling is so distinctly wrong that you just do it. Someone who doesn't move well, who's going on a hike all the way up Half Dome and they're 9 hours in, but still got more to go. What they're doing is they're putting their foot up on the next stone or log or whatever, and then they align their head over it. Then they put their hands on their knee and they press themselves up with the biomechanical efficiency that was required. Otherwise, that fat ass would have to go back down the mountain. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just being honest.
Yeah, it's true, man. Yeah.
And up a staircase is where now you're going to be incentivized just biomechanically to bring your hip and shoulder closer together on one side so that your foot is elevating without even having to elevate your foot, which means that when you elevate your foot, it elevates higher. And then the hip and shoulder close on that side, coiled and ready, boom, they power out of it.
Right.
And so a staircase is a wonderful thing. And it's no wonder that can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you. Just obviously it's frozen.
Okay, great.
No, we're good.
My screen froze, but I
same.
can hear you. So the staircase, it's no wonder that you sort of found that. And you're also sort of swimming through the air, and you're doing this to locomote is a wonderful exercise,
Mm-hmm.
but when you go to actually put it into locomotion, you'll flip it and it'll be an underhand. So it'll be
Okay.
coming up in the front and it's not going to come down
Right.
like this.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing
It's
that.
going to go like this, but this creates the
Mm.
same mechanism of the spinal engine,
Yeah.
and you want both, okay?
Okay.
And a long jumper is going to run up with the underhand figure eight, and as soon as they hit the board and go, they flip it to overhand with this internal, so they can bring their feet and flex the spine forward, so they can go further, as opposed to staying here like this, which
True.
won't get me as far in the air. And so that, and Noah Lyles, the reason he won the gold medal by like a thousandth of a second was because at that last step, it went from underhand to overhand. And he
Oh.
got his body across there while
Mm.
Keyshane's over there doing this and didn't get it a thousandth of a second further faster.
Fuck, that's
I
And these
know.
are these are the things that you see when you understand. And if you don't understand, you simply don't see.
I'll,
And I cannot evaluate biomechanics with any certainty unless I have slow motion, frame by frame analysis. I can't see it in real time with any clarity. I can tell you in real time whether it's good or bad, but I can't tell you how good or how bad unless and convey the idea or information to the person. You show them the video. I had a baseball kid. This guy was, throwing 92 miles an hour as a sophomore in high school, but after 2 innings, it was a bag of ice and he hurt. But 92 is nothing to sneeze at as a sophomore. So I said to him, I was like, all right, so show me what you're doing. He's like, oh, I'm doing this. And I'm like, all right, well, my advice is don't do those things. Okay. Now, do you have any videotape of you throwing the baseball? He's like, yeah. He pulls up a video on the phone. His mom is like in the bleachers through the chain link fence. It's at the wrong angle. Like, that's the only video you have of yourself throwing. Okay. I set up the camera right behind catcher's mitt. He's on the mound throwing. And then I say, okay, now let's look at let's look at the video. And he was taking his arm and he was coming outside too early, right? Well, to throw a baseball most effectively, if my elbow's inside 90, I can now drive it faster with less friction or less problems if I do that. And he was doing this, like so right would come out. He looked at the video and he knows you're not supposed to do that. He looked at the video, goes, I'm doing that. I'm like, well, I don't know. You
Fuck
tell
yeah.
me. I mean, looks like you are on the video. So talk about a tool that if I had not intervened with that tool, this kid had done this forever and he never would have known.
yeah. Man, that's
Right?
I got to touch on that because that's something I've realized on myself too, and others. Like I got someone to throw. He couldn't throw without pain, so I just play with it myself and go, oh, throw like this because it probably won't hurt. And what I got him doing was what you said then. But like, is there any truth in like leading with the elbow? So like, I'll load back, and almost like you're go into like a dart throw, like almost like
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
Yes. Yeah. And what you'd call that in baseball, you call that layback.
okay.
So when I'm here, at speed, you're going to see this layback where the elbow's way in front,
Yeah.
and this goes way back to get that
like a
last
slingshot.
bit, right? And then you articulate it with a spiral.
Yep.
So I remember when all these certified stiffs were their message years ago. Oh, we have to train the decelerators. Oh yeah. Oh. It's like, no, the pitcher is not trying to slow down his arm at any point in the pitch. Okay. He's not like releasing the ball going, oh, I got to slow down now. No, it just winds itself out with the spiral dynamic. So the force goes, it
Yeah.
doesn't get stuck in you. And if it doesn't reconcile with a spiral, well, then it gets stuck in you and you get hurt and it's not as good a pitch.
Yeah. So,
Right?
yeah. So
And I was fascinated by Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was a black baseball player back in the day when you couldn't play with white people if you were black. And then Jackie Robinson comes in and suddenly, now black athletes can play Major League Baseball. Satchel Paige is like 50 or something,
Yeah.
and he's still hurling the ball effectively because he was so efficient. and efficiency is clean. You don't get all that exhaust, all that tar. It's like knickknacks for nicotine as opposed to cigarettes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a better delivery
Wait,
mechanism.
yeah, for sure.
So I got one last question to ask you, man. And it's like, who have you found to be like, I reflect on my education. Like I see the moments where, oh, that was a jump. That was like a big realization. And then I took this from this person and this from this person. And you start to like mold what you like. Who
Yes.
in your career were the big, like, oh, that was a realization, whether it was from yourself or just people that you grabbed something from?
Well, I mean, the real answer would be maybe there's too many to name
Yeah.
from all the giants whose shoulders I stand on, as it were. But I would have to say like Feldenkrais. I never got to work with him personally, but I did work with his first, one of his first students. So I was getting as direct the transmission as I could from a sensory touch. Holy shit, that was a massive change on the table
Yeah.
by doing less. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then with Rolfing, structural integration, Ida Rolf, she was gone before I got to her.
Yeah.
So again, I got it from one of her first students. And session number 7 of the 10 series of structural integration, my guy puts on rubber gloves and says, lick my pinky fingers. I'm like, oh boy, what the hell's going on here? So he went into my nostrils
Yeah.
and he's manipulating like, the sphenoid and shit inside there. And I had an injury where I got my jaw knocked and I was like 20 in college playing basketball. I got dislocated and my jaw was crooked for all these years, right? My jaw's crooked. After that session, my jaw went back to normal, but my teeth had already shaped for 30 years this.
Wow.
And so now when I bite, I only close this side because my jaw was fixed from this structural integration.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then martial arts teachers. I have a lot of people who I've studied with, and once I understood martial science, which is something that these stiffs, they can't even acknowledge that there is a martial science because there's not 19 soccer players, waxing on and whacking off to figure out, oh, we proved it with science. No, there's fundamental principles that apply to martial movement. And if you are not sincere about them, you lose the fight.
yeah,
So it's
so true.
very, very, very important that you understand these martial principles. And I had amazing teachers and I sought them out. Like William C.C. Chen, Tai Chi. Cheng Man Chin, the guy who brought Yang Tai Chi to America, a legend. William C.C. Chen lived with him as a teenager. So I was getting, as direct transmission as I could. And when we were playing push hands, this is very early in my development, I lose my balance and I don't even know that it's lost until it's gone. And there was no forcing me to lose balance. It was the efficiency and the subtlety that took me off balance gently. And once I experienced that, I'm like, okay, that's what I want to know. I want to know how to beat someone up without hurting them. You know what I mean? Like I want to be so smooth and fluid that it can come and I can yield and I can neutralize and then I can do whatever I want, which is usher you on your way. Or would you prefer to die by getting smashed into the wall, the floor, or crushed with this? What do you want? Which is it, right?
Yeah.
Because I would rather just let you go, right?
Yeah.
So, and then certain coaches, athletic trainers who just knew stuff just because they had so many reps in the trenches and they did so. I remember once I got nailed in the thigh in practice. And so it's like that wicked Charlie horse. And Ron, the athletic trainer, he goes, all right, give me your leg. And he bends my knee all the way as far as it can go. And then he sort of put an ace bandage to hold my leg in that position. And he said, if we heal it in this position, you'll be able to straighten it. But if we heal it straight, you won't be able to bend it.
Right.
Oh,
Holy
wow,
shit.
that's interesting.
That's
Dick
really
Hartzell,
cool.
the guy who created the elastic bands, the long elastic bands. That was Dick Hartzell who did that. A twisted ankle, I could fix a twisted ankle so you could go back in and play. Whereas before I met Dick Hartzell, oh, that's 2 weeks, and it's going to nag me for another 4 weeks because you just don't know the intervention. As soon as you know the intervention, you can make change rapidly and results rule. So anytime I experienced that from a lot of different places, it made a mark and I absorbed what was useful so I could understand. And now I could use those tools. And then I could develop from that understanding to figure out stuff that people miss. Right. And so I'm critical thinker and I'm a creative thinker and I'm not afraid. Like when I remember when I was a young kid, you know, in like 6th grade, and back then you couldn't just hear your favorite song. It had to come on the radio or you had to go to the record store and buy it. Right. There was no Spotify where you just listen to what you want to listen to. Right. And I remember we were all standing around and there was the Kinks had just launched their new album, you know, Lola, you know, oh, Lola, I say Lola, Lola, I say Lola. I hadn't heard the song yet, but all my friends did. So I was so afraid to be different and the odd man out that I was like, oh, yeah, that song's incredible. I'd never heard it. And today I got a confidence that if you tell me something and I don't know it, I'll be like, what is that? I don't know that. And the response could be, how could you not know that? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah.
So it gives you great power when you're not afraid of being ostracized by a bunch of bullies. And when you learn to stand on your own 2 feet and think with your own brain, and if it ain't logical, don't fucking fit the square peg through the round hole just so you could fit in with a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dumb move. And it's a lonely place for a time. But then if you are correct and it is true, in the physical realm, bullshit dies. It doesn't live forever. In the mental realm, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. 10 push-ups. Oh, I could do 10 push-ups. Well, how come you only did 5? Oh,
Yeah.
because you can only do 5. Like that's why. Right? And what's that do to your spirit? What's that do to your spirit when you're a fraud?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not living in true
It would
integration
mess
with
my
your soul.
spirit up. So the physical integrity is the departure point. It's accountable, it's accessible, it's pragmatic, it's not expensive, and the benefits are intangibly invaluable. Okay, well, I'm going to stick with the truth then.
Man, that's so cool. Can I ask you who your Feldenkrais teacher was, his name or her name?
Yeah, David Zemek Burson.
Okay.
And what I did was I engaged in the 4-year professional training program, and I only stayed in it for about, I don't know, 3/4 of the first year
Yep.
before I was like, okay, I got what I needed out of this. I'm not going to be a Feldenkrais practitioner, but I got what I needed.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And that allowed me, and then I read all the books. And reading the books gives you the principles and the philosophies. You can't learn it from the book, but you can understand the whole picture and the rationale for what you're going to learn. And so you provide context by doing those trainings. I went to Chinese medical school. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever I want. And Chinese medical school, I only went for the first year. And I got what I needed from it because what I did was the founder of the school, his course was one of the best courses that I ever took in my life. And I took a lot of good courses, you know, at very prestigious academic institutions. And I followed him in his clinic. I just trailed him. And he had learned acupuncture from a guy who sharpened reusable needles on the leather sole of the shoe. You know, like there was no acupuncture school back when this guy learned it. So he was very laissez-faire. And the only thing I didn't do in his clinic was put the needles in. I was doing cupping the old-fashioned way, where you take the little clipper thing, you get the cotton ball, you squirt it with alcohol, you light it on fire, you put it in a glass cup, you take it out and stick it on a person. My first time ever doing that was the guy showed me how to do it. He said, "Now go do it." You know what I mean? Just throw you in.
Fuck, that's sick.
And the benefits that I got from that were the intangibles because I could see, oh, every patient who comes in, he treats the back shoe points and then he goes to the specific problem. Oh, that means that the bladder meridian has some certain special aspects as it relates to all the other organ systems and blah, blah, blah. and you start piecing stuff together. And then from a Western anatomical mechanistic, let's reduce it down to its elemental parts. Well, that's true too. And it goes to the center, but all this esoteric shit, it goes to the center too. And
Yeah.
you get to the same place, and you could call it a tomato, you could call it a tomato, you could call it a pomodoro, and it's a fucking tomato.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And a rose is a rose by any other name. It don't stink like shit. It smells like a rose because it's a rose, and you can call it a piece of shit, but it's not. It's a rose. So I think those equivalencies and seeing it and understanding it from different perspectives gives you fuller understanding of the whole thing had you only had one road to the truth.
Yeah.
So that and mailbox money. How many hours in a day? I only sleep 4. I'm fully recharged in 4. And the other 20 hours, I'm doing what I want to do. And there's almost never a day that goes by that I don't screen record something that I've seen on Instagram, YouTube, or X, where I am now analyzing that movement in slow motion because I love to do it, because I love to understand it deeper. And the only way to understand it deeper is a passionate, uncompromising, relentless pursuit of better, and never complacency. Never, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
What comes after best? It's called better. Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. If you stop at best, well, then you're going to get past, and it's going to suck, and it might turn you into one of these willfully ignorant idiots who like defends the falsehood until they have to, right? And that's the disgrace.
Yeah.
That's a disgrace. And the reason I say it this way and emphasize it really, it's still an olive branch. I've been trying to hand the olive branch over. They're the ones who made me lash them with the olive branch, right? It's their fault. Bang, here's the olive branch. Bang, take it, you idiot. Take it, bang. When I've been just trying to hand it to them the whole time.
Yeah, it's a mentor, Matt Walden, told me years ago, and it stuck with me. I just heard him say it on a talk, and he goes, "Truth transcends time." And
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And it's such, we live in the meantime right now where we're finding out that the world is run by evil people who have an agenda to basically fuck humanity. Okay. And that's my belief,
Yeah.
just based on the evidence as it is presented.
yeah,
Where's Epstein's list?
Yeah, what the fuck, eh?
Did they bring them down to Antarctica and go meet the lizard people who told them this is how it is? You're gonna got to go back up there and now tell lies. Maybe it is, and I'll forgive him for that because I didn't meet no lizard guy who told me something that would be just so devastating. So maybe they're just trapped too. I don't know, and I don't care. What I care about is within the scope of what I can change, and I can fundamentally change physical education because I'm teaching more talented people what it is. They feel the benefit, then they teach it, right?
Yeah.
I'm never going to be on the cover of a magazine, right? The only person who aspires for my physique is a fat, out of shape dad who would rather be a skinny, out of shape dad. Right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have that aspirational physicality that anyone's going to buy exercise stuff based on the way I look, right? It's this, and it's this, and it's these guys,
yeah,
right? It's the stones to allow your heart and your brain to reconcile, because a lot of people that's too difficult, right? And do they know? Yeah, I think they know. Right? I think they know. And I think that's why nobody ever comes at me on X. Because on X, that's where it's like, oh, you don't see the guy with the abs, making muscles like Instagram. It's all like strength coach. We're serious here on X, they're like, oh, and you don't get a lot of people posting the sandwich that they ate for breakfast or whatever on X. It's the domain of the serious. And the serious ones, they don't want to get into a war of words with me because they'll be embarrassed. They'll be exposed. They'll be found out if they want to have a conversation. And I'd love to have a conversation. I'd be very kind. I'd be very professional. I'd just say, please explain to me how stiffening your spine in neutral and maintaining it that way against any and all forces, how does that make us move better again? Like, just explain it to me. Now, try this. Just stand. All right. Put your feet touching one another. Don't let your nose move to the side. Now lift one foot. Oh, you can't maintain your balance, not even for a tenth of a second, because you don't have your head over your foot. Oh, got it. Okay. So explain to me again how rigidifying the spine in neutral is going to make me run better. Like, how? Explain it to me. Explain it to them. Explain it to yourself. And they can't, because it's not true. And the worst thing that you can do is, and when you're in a hole, is keep digging deeper. And the second worst thing is not try to climb out of the hole.
Yeah.
And I put a ladder right in the hole, but you know, it's my ladder. So that makes it all the more challenging because I'm the charlatan. And they spent 18 years telling the marketplace, which is this certified cabal, because you need your CECs now, don't you? Oh, well, what session am I going to take at the next conference? Oh, new concepts in core training. Oh, we're going to do a power-off press this way. Oh, no. Why isn't the new concept in core training to master the spinal engine to make all things better? Why is it not that? Because that is the new concept in core training. Skate to where the puck has always been. When it was sticks and stones, efficiency was the rule. So you didn't do burpees and you didn't fucking hit a tire with a sledgehammer. You got shit done because calories were precious. And the guy, the lumberjack who's chopping down a tree, he's going to be better physically than the guy who's just bashing a tire with a sledgehammer with no precision. I'll take the real lumberjack over the gym lumberjack 10 days out of 10.
100%.
Right?
Yeah,
Because he's
yeah.
getting shit done. And getting shit done means you want to get that shit done. You know what I mean? So if you got to go 7 hours and chase down the gazelle or whatever you're trying to eat, well, what happens after mile 5 if you can't go further? You don't eat. Your family doesn't eat, and you're a nice guy. I don't give a fuck. You're dead.
Yeah.
Your seed did not procreate because you were athletically stupid, and there were no athletically stupid people back then.
Man,
They wouldn't have survived,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, well, truth transcends time, right?
I think it really does, and I think, you know, I was an actor, so, you know, I would read scripts, and now I got to relate to it. And the first way that you relate to a script and a character as an actor is you ask the question, what would I do if I were in those circumstances? So you at least have a departure point, and then you sort of modify it as per whatever the role requires, right? So what if I were cast as God? All right, what are the circumstances? No beginning, no end, omnipotent, omnipresent. There's no surprises. Everything, you know, everything. Shoot me now. There's never a surprise? Really? I'm going to be the most bored entity in the history of ever. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll close my eyes. I'll create creators. You make Breaking Bad. You do that. You do that. Entertain me. That's why I made you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
being a little boring. All right. Eat or be eaten. Go. Bang. Suddenly the little amoeba starts doing that. And it does that a trillion times. And guess what? It ossifies a segmented spine, because if I take some gelatinous material in a laboratory and I do this to it over and over and over, it will form nodes of harder material, softer material, harder material, softer material. That's called
Wow.
a fucking spine. Okay.
Wow.
Now, the Piscean movement strategy, the fish, they're buoyant. Gravity ain't the factor. Now, all I need to do is side bend. That's right. Watch a shark breach. It has to go way down and way up because a dolphin has this and this, right? The dolphin jump up, jump up, jump up, hit the shark in the fins, kill it, all right? Because all the shark has is this. So when the amphibian comes out of the water, suddenly you got gravity, you got to prop yourself up. I just made forward progress by bending my spine and elevating one and dropping the other. I just made forward progress. I spent no energy to do so. Now, the amphibians taught by peer review science would say, "Oh, stiffen and walk. Oh yeah, yeah." Blah, blah, blah. Well, no, that would be inefficient, and that creature would not exist. Oh, okay. And then right? The mammalian strategy is create vertical potential. The lizard is the paleo diet. I sit on a hot rock and I wait 3 months for a cricket to come by. I eat it and I spend no energy to exist because I sit on a hot rock with my cold blood that's now warm. Oh, the mammal said, no, we're going to spend the energy. We're going to be warm blooded. We're going to prop ourselves up. So we got the vertical drop. We're potentiating gravity. Ooh. And then the human said, fuck it. I'm going all in vertical, baby. My cerebrospinal fluid has polarity. Ooh, I need to sleep. Otherwise, I'll short circuit. Ooh. And the benefit I get is I am the most efficient terrestrial locomotor on the fucking planet, and I'm carrying a stick, and my buddies are too. And we sweat. Ooh. That means you're bigger, you're faster, you're stronger, but I'm eating you. And that's, I think, how it works.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's how I've looked a lot into that, and that's a more charismatic explanation than the most people will explain it, and I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So where can people find out about you, your courses, learning, education? Where do they go? Where's the plug?
Weckmethod.com is where our training and our training tools exist. I'm on Instagram with the David Weck and X with the David Weck. That's all I do. I have a YouTube channel I've had forever, but I'm going to actually start using the YouTube because I think I'm a long form content guy, more than a minute content guy. And YouTube is where that's like, I just see tremendous opportunity on YouTube. And I know how to play the game in terms of like, I can tease people who deserve to be teased and can handle teasing. And if you have 3 million followers and I can embarrass you and make fun of you and still like you, and I don't care if you like me or not, doesn't matter. I'm using you to exploit your followers so I can get popular too. And I can make $10 million just from YouTube. Dr. Mike here. Dr. Mike with Dr. Dave. Ha ha. Want to see my PhD? Here it is. Ready? Yeah. Oops. Can't find it. I must have uploaded the wrong one. Right? I mean, you can have so much fun with these guys.
Yeah.
And it's just about getting attention.
Yeah.
And then what I would like to have happen is that we play this little bullshit out. And then the people who are the bullies, they realize, oh, it wasn't fun being humiliated. Maybe I don't want bullying anymore. And then we settle the score. And now we have humankind who encourages those who are younger and smaller, right? It's less of that bullying to hate them and more like, here, you know what? Tuck the football this way. Don't hold it that way. Right? Be helpful, right? Make other people stronger. Don't try to make them weaker, right? And I want that. I want that. I need that, in fact. And I will fight for that. And I don't care about the present moment if it makes tomorrow better. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's spot on, man.
We're going to have truth. We're going to have truth in physical education. I'm not going to let them bullshit and fucking sabotage the humankind, turning people mean, jealous, envious, right? All the bad qualities. And human nature. Well, yeah, we got to deal with human nature, but we can control the human nurture, now can't we? And if you bring a kid up in a good environment, well, then much more likely there's going to be a good kid. If you bring the kid up in a mean system where everybody's trying to knock them down and shit, well, guess what? They might not turn out so well either. And that's what I see has happened, and it's happening at a rate that's accelerating. There's way too much bullshit. Good times create weak men, and weak men create very hard, bad times.
Yeah.
We just got to teach the children well, and we can pull out of the nosedive in a generation or two if you simply teach the children well. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
Couldn't be simpler. Not easy, but simple for sure. That's what I want to do. That's why I bully bullies. If you're a bully in fitness, well, then you're fair game for me to bully you too, okay? And if the BOSU guy can bully you and you got no comebacks because you ain't as smart and you ain't as worked, ain't as experienced. Well, you just lost to the BOSU guy, which is the most humiliating thing that could ever happen to a science fitness guy, right?
Yeah.
And then that's what's going to restore them, and basically, just they can finally be the good people that they actually are. Because there's not enough money in fitness to attract the evil ones like Fauci and Gates and all these. Prepare the gallows.
Yeah. Man.
Pay-per-view. I'd pay $900.
Yeah, I'd watch that too. I'd watch that too. Man, thanks.
I just want to see the feet. I don't want to see anything. I just want to see twitch. I want to see him stop. I want to see it drop. Next. And I'm joking, but I'm not.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. For sure. I'm right there with you, man. Appreciate you
Do the
coming on, dude.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. But I love your stuff. Definitely be tuning in. I'm looking forward to seeing you more active on YouTube. And obviously all our listeners will tap into your stuff and we'll put it out there and put some reels out there, and we're all behind you, dude. Lovely work. I see a lot of myself in you in my own way, and it excites me. The whole just life excites me, of that. Of just like and seeing.
How old are you?
I'm 33. Jake's 35. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 55, so I got 20 years on you and 20 on you.
It's exciting.
And all I can say is just fucking go for it and soak it up, because 20 years ago go by very fast.
Yeah.
And you guys are right at that dawning of a paradigm shift where we can restore integrity to physical education and create a market that is way bigger than what it currently is now.
Yeah.
And one of my goals would be to say, you know what? Not that many people actually have a personal trainer who counts out their push-ups and they pay them. They have someone who teaches them something like jitsu, like whatever, dance, or whatever you want to do. But you sort of shore up the basics just independently. Like you got it. You know what to do.
Yeah.
That's how the path to independence for human beings. So you're not reliant upon others. Your job is to do the best you can so that you can now contribute the absolute most to others as possible. Because when it was small family tribe units, less than 135 people, all you want to do is help everyone in your little community. Once you get to 136 and more, now that Machiavellian, like, oh, I'm going to tell him that, and I'm going to do that over there, and I'm going to pull strings, and I'm going to fuck all these guys so I can get to the top. You need a bigger society that's more complex for that shit to happen. And now you're connected to the whole world. Oh, Jesus. And AI is going to make things that will fool us. So what can we trust in as we move forward? Well, you can trust your own sensations. You can trust your own feelings. And when you have balance, your resting baseline is very sensitive to anomaly and inefficiency and resistance, so that you can stem it before it grows to become a 900-pound gorilla that's shoved in the closet while you're off pressing your next client.
My man, appreciate you.
Yeah,
and
appreciate you, man.
Much love, dude, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And when
all right, well, let me know when you're doing this, and collab or whatever.
Yep.
Do clips. Tag me,
Yeah,
I'll
we will,
promote
man.
you.
We will.
Yeah.
People in the industry just have to hear the message, and unfortunately, they have to hear it over and over and over and over, because they're very stubborn and they're very weak, and we need to help them and embarrass them and humiliate them.
Yeah. Well, we love that shit, dude. We're on Team Weck, so
yeah, we're behind you, dude.
I mean, it's just, look, I didn't make the game, and maybe the best advice is let's not hate the players. Let's hate the fucking game so much that we change the game so we give the players a chance.
Totally agree, bro.
Sweet, man. All right, bro.
Thank
Much
you,
love.
bro.
All right, gentlemen.
Have a good
Pleasure
night.
talking to you.
You
Thank
too, man.
You too, brother. You.